In the offices, it's usually much better to recycle your toner. If your toner is finished, instead of buying new toner, you can kind of refill it. Okay, so those are some of the little ways that we can, do in order to control environmental costs. Okay. Okay, so any questions, please, before we go to accounting for environmental costs? Any questions, any remarks? The class is a bit dull today. What's the problem with people? I have 60 people, but most of you are not participating. I'm going to call people at random and see whether they are not sleeping. Ibrahima Sedikan. Ibrahima, are you with us? Ibrahima? Ibrahima Cham. Cham, are you with us? You've been very quiet today.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening.
You are listening. And you are following as well, yeah? Are you following?
Yes, yes.
Okay, excellent. Ousseynou Dafe? Dafe? Okay, yes, Amadou will close at 5. Don't worry. It's about 12 minutes to 5, Amadou. We'll close at 5. Okay, so let's proceed. Let's proceed so that we can close by 5 o'clock. Okay, so we're going to look at a couple of methods that is used in environmental accounting. So the first method is the input-output analysis. Okay, input-output analysis. Yes.
How about what I think is if we want to reduce the carbon emission on the atmosphere.
Okay.
On the atmosphere, I think the government should embark on taxing people who use carbon.
Taxing people, okay, carbon tax.
Yes, carbon tax. Charging companies on the amount of carbon they use.
Yes, yes, definitely, definitely. I support that idea. I support that idea. If you emit so much carbon, you pay for it. So just like in the West, the carbon trading they are doing. Yeah, so I'll definitely encourage the government to do that. That's a good point. Okay, shall we move, please? Because time is not on our side. So first, we're going to look at the input-output analysis, okay? The first accounting for environmental cost technique. Okay, so what the input-output analysis does is, it assumes that for every input, there must be a corresponding output. For example, if you input, let's say, 100 kilogram of material, okay, there must be an output from that 100 kilogram. But are you able to get an output of 100 kilogram of material? No, not certainly. Okay, so if you input 100, there may be a likelihood that you will get an output of 70 kilogram or an output of 80 kilogram or an output of 90 kilogram. But you can never be able to get an output of 100 kilogram. Why? Because there must be waste in production. Okay, there must be waste. That's obvious. So what the input-output method does is it analyzes what has been inputted and the output that has been generated from the input and what remains. Okay, what remains may not only be as a result of waste, but it may be as a result of other factors. So a typical example is here. If you input 100 kilogram of materials into a production process, and the final product that you are able to get was only, let's say, 80 kilogram of worth. Sorry, 80 kilogram of material worth has been produced. Now, there's a difference of what? 20 kilogram. Okay, so this 20 kilogram could be accounted for differently. Okay, the 20 kilogram may be accounted for in some way. It may be, for example, that 10% of it has been sold as scrap and the other 90% as waste. You understand? You input 100, you are able to get what? 80 kilogram output. But this 80 kilogram and 100 kilogram, there's a difference of 20 kilogram. So this 20 kilogram, it doesn't mean everything of this 20 kilogram is waste. There may be some that may have been scrapped as a result of wrong size or wrong type. Okay? So we can assume that 10% has been scrapped and then the 90% is waste. So in order to calculate your environmental cost, which is waste, you'll have to take the 20 kilogram multiplied by 90% because 90% of the 20 kilogram is waste. So how many kilogram will be that? How many kilogram will be that?
18.
18 kilogram. Excellent. 18 kilogram. Good. Okay. So now it is that 18 kilogram that you're going to value and then record in your accounting transactions. Okay. The second method is very similar to the first method. Okay. It's called flow cost accounting. Okay, the technique uses not only material flows, but also organizational structure. Okay, so it makes material flows transparent by looking at the physical quantities involved, their costs, and their value. It divides the material flows into three categories: material, system, delivery, and dispatch. The values and cost of each of these three flows are then calculated. Okay, so it's very similar to the input-output, but this also adds other aspects to it, not just material, but also it looks at the system, it looks at the delivery process, it looks at the disposal. Okay, so that's another method of accounting for environmental cost. Okay, so the third method is, of course, the activity-based costing. Just like I explained with the case of the washing machine, you can use ABC, and we all agreed that the cost driver could be the number of washing, okay, and then as a result of this method, you can be able to ascertain the costs of using a towel, and then you will be able to take a decision as to whether the users of the gym or so can be able to pay extra for using an extra towel. You know, and we say because it's relating to the environment, I'm sure most users will agree. Okay. Then another method is the life cycle costing. Okay. So within the context of environmental management, life cycle costing is also a technique that requires the full environmental consequences and therefore costs arising from production of a product to be taken account across its whole life cycle, literally from cradle to grave. So life cycle costing can also be used in EMA. So we can just look at the emission trading quickly. We can look at it quickly. And then there is a question which I'm going to give you as an assignment. It's a very simple question. I want you to do it on your Google Sheet. So let's go through the EMA, 5 minutes, so that we don't go into other people's time. Sorry, not EMA, the EU emission trading system, the EU ETS. Okay, so let me explain this. The EU emission trading system is also known as the carbon trading. Okay, the carbon trading. This is a technique that has been employed by European countries to combat global warming. Okay, to combat global warming. So organizations or institutions or manufacturing companies must join this trading system, like those that are into aviation, okay, and those that are into production and manufacturing. Those companies will have to join. So what happens is your government will allow your company, your manufacturing company, or your aviation company to emit certain amount of CO2 in a particular year. For example, if they allow you to emit 50,000 tons of CO2 in a year, that will be your allocation. Okay? So you do your operation in a year. If you are able to emit less than that, whatever remains in your bag, you can sell it. If you sell it, you generate income. So what you're selling is your right to emit. So since your right to emit CO2, okay, your right to emit CO2, you are not able to use all the right. So whatever remains, you can sell it to other companies. So this is the way the carbon trading works. So you can recognize revenue in it, and then of course you can pay dearly. So those who emit beyond their threshold, beyond their allowable ton of CO2, if they emit beyond that, they cannot be able to emit anymore unless and until they buy from the companies that have got excess. Okay? So wise users, wise companies that uses environments effectively will benefit from this trading, whilst those who don't will suffer. So this is the way the EU emission trading works. Okay? So you can read it when you have time. Okay, so these are some of the allowances that are given for emissions for power stations. In 2013, they were allowed to emit 2,084,301,856 tons of CO2 in a year. Okay, and for aviation, the cap is 210, 349, 264 per year. Okay, as you can see. And if you have to buy and sell, there is a price for it. So that's what we call the carbon price. In the UK, in 2014, 2015, this stands at 15.6 per ton. Okay, if you have to buy and sell, this is the price you need to pay in the UK. Okay, so this is where we're going to stop. This is a question that you have to do as an assignment. Okay, so please do this question as an assignment, and you do it using your Google Sheet, your individual Google Sheet that you shared with me. Open a new page and call the page EMA and do this question, please. Okay? Am I clear, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes. So do this assignment, like I said. I'm going to share this this slide.
Sorry, Mr. Fofana, can you repeat it once more? Can you repeat what you just said about the assignment?
Okay, I'll do that. Yes. Fatu, you want to say?
Is it group assignment or individual?
Individual.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, Danzo, what I was trying to say, this is the question.
It's 17 hours.
As you can see, this is the question on carbon trading. I want you to do this question individually using your individual file, your individual Google Sheet that you shared with me. I know you had done at least 2 assignments on that same Google Sheet. It should still be there. Open a new page on that Google Sheet, call that page EMA, and answer this question. You don't have to share it again since it's shared with me. Once you do it, I'm going to be able to see it. Is that clear?
Yes, Mr. Fofana, okay.
Yes. Okay, I hope the assignment is clear.
But Mr. Fofana,
Yes, Amadou.
I was expecting you will have an example first before an assignment, so we can know, the roots and all that.
No, this is a simple one. Just try it.
Minor example.
Just try it. I'm going to next class we're going to look at it together. Don't worry. It's a simple one. Yeah, it's a simple one. Simple accounting.
No problem. You will get there.
You will definitely get there.
Okay, sir. Salute you.
Okay, so I think we need to stop here. Some people have got class. It's 5 o'clock now. Any questions, any comments on today's class overall before we do important?
Mr. Fofana.
Yes, madam.
I want to ask a question.
Sorry?
I know we're supposed to do MA3 exam according to the timetable.
Okay.
So I don't know whether we will finish our syllabus before that.
No. Most likely, no. We will not. Actually, what I don't usually conduct my exams during the normal time because I want to finish the syllabus. And this time around, it's prolonging because of this spreadsheet thing. So I feel it's better to get the points right to understand the syllabus more, and of course, using spreadsheet, I value that more than just to give you exams, so you can just pass and go your way. This is a major paper, which I feel you must try to understand, not just to pass, but understand and practicalize it, in your everyday life. So. No, most likely we won't take the exam on this scheduled date. So we will continue with our classes until when we finish the syllabus. Actually, after today's class, next class we're going to start. We'll have 2 more topics. That's main topics, of course. We're going to look at accounting for short-term decision making, which is going to take us about 2 or 3 classes. And then after that, we'll look at investment appraisal techniques, which is also going to take us about 2 or 3 classes. Okay, so no, we may not be able to conduct the exams on a scheduled time, but don't worry about that. You getting the stuff is what is more important to me than just passing the exam and going your way. Okay,
Mr. Fofana.
Yes, madam.
Mr. Fofana, but on next week Friday will be on the 19th, right?
Next week Friday, I think so.
Yeah, on the 19th, and exams start on the 22nd.
On the 22nd, okay.
So that means we will not have break on the classes until after exam, right?
No, what we can do is we can conduct class next week. So week after next, that's when your exams will start. Maybe we can break for 2 weeks to allow you to concentrate to do your exams. Then after that, we continue.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
After that, we'll try to put in some extra classes, not only Fridays. Maybe if we do some extra classes, then we'll finish early. Okay?
Okay. Okay. That's fair enough. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So any other comments before we wrap up? Alaji, are you just coming now? Alaji Jani. Okay. Anyway, let's just call it a day. Thank you for coming. Have a pleasant weekend. I'll see you next class, but make sure, please, you do your assignment, okay? Make sure you do your assignment.
Mr. Fufana.
Now.
Mr. Fufana, good afternoon. Mr. Fufana, are you hearing?
Sorry?
Are you getting me?
I'm getting you, yes.
Why not? I was suggesting you give us this Friday because we are starting our exams on Monday.
Okay, I give you what on Friday?
For us not to have class this Friday. Next week Friday.
Oh no. Let's have class this Friday, and from next week we will break for 2 weeks because the exams are usually 2 weeks. We'll break for 2 weeks, and then after exams we'll continue. But this Friday, let's have class, okay? This is online class. You don't have to travel. You don't have to do anything. Okay? Okay, is that okay? So we can end the class here. Marie, I hope you are able to join us.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Mr. Fofana.
Yes.
With all the assignments and all these words, that we have bunch of assignments on our head, and it's all this last minute. So if we have to attend another lectures next week Friday, when will we start preparing for exams? Some are starting on the 22nd.
Some are starting on the 22nd.
Yes. It's a bit worrying with the assignments. They all came at one go. It's like this last minute assignment. I think some of us are having up to 5 assignments. I don't even know. I cannot even tell. I submitted one today when I was supposed to submit it yesterday. And for us in our area, there was no light yesterday night. Can you imagine? Light came around 3. I couldn't even walk up. I had to sleep because I was awake till late. So it's really frustrating though there is no excuse, but I think you guys should pity us.
Yeah, wow. It's not easy.
Honestly,
it's not easy. Student life is not easy.
It's not easy. We will
It's
try.
not easy. It's not easy.
But if we have a lot to do, we don't mind. We can still try.
Yes, we have a lot to do because otherwise the class will continue to prolong. You know, it's only going to be about 2 hours or so, and because of the other traveling, so it's not a big deal.
And I was online, but all of a sudden I went I got disconnected, so I have to rejoin. Someone was asking at some point that whether there will be exams. We are going to do it on the normal. What is on the normal timetable? As the person asked, I think
No, we are not going to do it.
No,
we are not going to do it on the normal time.
Okay.
Because we need to complete the syllabus first.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. No problem.
Okay. Class, have a good weekend. Bye for now.
All right. You too. Bye.
Bye.